Namaskar and welcome viewers. You're with me, Surbhi Uniyal, and I teach philosophy at Hansraj College, University of Delhi. We are doing a special lecture series under the symbolic expressions on Introduction to Philosophy. And in that we are doing Indian philosophy. In today's lecture we are discussing Vaiśeṣika Philosophy. We have with us Ms. Manisha, who is going to interpret this lecture in sign language. In the previous lecture, we discussed a basic introduction of Vaiśeṣika Philosophy, what is a padarth, and what are the various types of categories. We also started with dravya or the substance. Quickly revising our concept on dravya, and then we will move on to the other categories. So in Vaiśeṣika philosophy, substance or dravya is defined as the underlying substratum where the actions or the qualities they exist or that they inhere. Along with that, it is also considered as the material cause of composite things that are produced from it. It is considered as, or it serves as a material cause of an effect, and in that it encompasses the genesis of substance, which is the dravyata within it. We have discussed that it's not a mere collection of qualities that it possesses, qualities or the actions. In fact, it has its own independent and objective existence. And in that it differs from the qualities and actions that it inheres, and therefore it has a independent existence of its own. Now, qualities and actions, they are inherent in the substance and they find their basis or foundation in the substance. So we can say that the substance is a basis of qualities and actions, actual or potential, present or future. Nor can the substance be defined apart from the qualities or the actions that are in the substance. Fine, so it's very important that a substance, we can say without a substance we cannot have qualities or actions, for they cannot hang in the air. And they need something on which they can be contained, or they need a basis on which they can inhere. So from that aspect we are saying that the substance is the basis of the qualities and actions, actual or potential, present or future. But we can also see here that even the substance, it cannot be defined apart from the qualities or actions. We also discussed that a substance, it is constitutive or it is a material cause of other composite things produced from it. And here we took an example of a cloth, that a cloth is a composite thing. And how is it formed? It is formed by the combination of number of threads of certain color. And here the threads are the material cause of the cloth. Fine. We also discussed that there are 9 substances, or there are 9 types of dravyas. I'll repeat again. Those 9 substances are earth, which is prithvi, water, which is up, fire, which is tejas, vayu or air, ether or akash, time or kal, space, which is dik, spirit, which is atman, and the 9th, mind or the internal organ, which is known as manas. Within these dravyas, earth, water, fire, air and ether, they refers not to the compound transient object made from them, but to the ultimate elements. And these elements are suprasensible, they are eternal, they are indivisible, and they are unique atoms. Fine. And it is important to note here that ether, unlike the other elements, it is infinite and it is eternal rather than atomic. And these together, these 5 together are known as Panchabhut, and they are all physical. In each of these substances, there is one such specific quality that may be perceived by one of the external sense organs. Fine. For example, earth has a quality of smell, water has a quality of taste, fire has the quality of color, air of touch, and ether of that of sound. And these qualities are perceived by nose, tongue, eyes, skin, and ears respectively. So, these are the various sense organs which are perceiving these qualities. So, these sense organs are also believed to have originated in the earth, water, fire, air, and ether. Now, time and space are considered as distinct substances with certain characteristics. They share similarity with ether in being one, which is ek, eternal, nitya, and all pervading, which is vibhu. Time, if you consider, it is an imperceptible and infinite substance. It is considered as partless and indivisible. Although conventionally spoken of as having parts or divisions, in its essence, we can say that time is unitary. Time is the cause of our cognitions of past, present, and the future, as well as the notion of younger and the older. So, these ideas of younger, older, past, present, future, these are because of time. So, it provides the framework within which events occur, and it enables us to perceive the temporal aspects of the reality. Fine. So, if there is time, this time provides this framework in which the events will occur. Along with that, it also helps us to perceive the temporal aspects of the reality. Similar to time, space is imperceptible and infinite. It is also partless and indivisible. Space is the cause of our cognition of directions such as east, west, north, south, etc. Or it also helps us in locations such as here and there, and distances such as near or far. So, it differs from ether, which is akash, which is the substratum of the quality of sound, while space encompasses the spatial dimensions, and ether serves as the basis for the perception of sound related qualities, and therefore these are different from each other. Now, according to Vaiśeṣika philosophy, there exist innumerable individual souls, each of which is independent, it is eternal, and it is all pervading. These souls are considered spiritual substances and serve as a substratum for the quality of consciousness. So, consciousness is not seen as the essence of the self, but rather as an adventitious attribute. Okay, so it is not an inseparable quality of the air, as it is not present during deep sleep. Consciousness is regarded as just mentioned that it's not, inherent into the self at all times. The self in its essence is considered as separate from consciousness. However, consciousness needs a place to reside, and it is not attributed to the body, neither can it be attributed to senses or mind. Instead, it is believed to reside in the self. So that is why we can say that self provides a foundation for consciousness to reside in. The last is mind, which is manas. It is also regarded as a substance or dravya. It is the internal sense organ. It is atomic, but unlike the first four atomic dravyas, it does not give rise to compound objects. It is many, and each is eternal and imperceptible. We can say that each self has a mind. So it is an organ through which the self comes into the contact with the objects. So that is the purpose of mind. So these are the 9 substances of Vaiśeṣik. All of them are objective realities. Earth, water, fire, air, and manas. They are atomic and they are eternal. The first 4 produce composite things, while manas does not. Earth, water, fire, air, and ether are 5 gross elements. These and the manas are physical, but the soul is spiritual. Fine. Now time and space are objective and not subjective forms of experience. Ether, space, time, soul are all pervading and eternal. Atom, minds, and souls are infinite in number. Ether, space, and time are one each. So just remember some of these relations that we have mentioned here, because they are important. Moving to the next category now, which is guna, or the quality. Now, according to Vaiśeṣika philosophy, quality is that category which subsists in a substance, but in which no other quality or action can inhere. So, qualities cannot exist without substance. Fine, a quality cannot belong to another quality of or action, but only to a substance. So, qualities are completely passive and they don't produce any objects. Fine. It is called an independent reality because it can be conceived, it can be thought, or it can be known, and it can be named independently of a substance where it inheres. The qualities are therefore called objective entities. Fine, because they have their independent existence. They are not necessarily eternal. They can include both material and mental qualities. So, quality therefore is different from both substance and the action. Fine. So, it can be defined as that which inheres in a substance, which does not possess quality or action, which does not produce any composite thing, which is not the cause of conjunction and disjunction like an action. Now, Vaiṣeṣikas, they have recognized 24 qualities, which are color, taste, smell, touch, sound, number, magnitude, distinctness, conjunction, disjunction, nearness, remoteness, cognition, pleasure, pain, desire, aversion, effort, heaviness, fluidity, viscidity, tendency, moral merit, and the last is moral demerit. We don't have to go deeper into these qualities, just that we need to remember that there are 24 qualities accepted by the Vaiṣeṣikas. Moving further to actions or karma. The third category is karma or action. Like quality, it belongs to and inheres in a substance and cannot exist separately from it. But while a quality is static and permanent feature of a substance, in contrast to that, an action is a dynamic and transient feature of it. Unlike the quality, an action can cause conjunction and disjunction. There are 5 kinds of actions recognized by Vaiṣeṣikas, which is upward motion, downward motion, contraction, expansion, and locomotion. Moving to the fourth category, which is samanya or the generality. It is a class concept, or you can call it as class essence or universal. What do we mean by that? It means that it is the common characteristic of the things which fall under the same class. So, samanya, it stands not for the class, but for the common characteristics of certain individuals and does not include the subclasses. It is the universal by the possession of or you can say possession which differentiate the individuals as referred to as belonging to one class, and that differentiates them from belonging to the other class. It is called eternal. It is one and residing in many. Let us further understand it. When we say that it is a class essence, what do we mean? Let's take an example here, that there is a class essence or universal of men called manness or humanity, which inheres in all individual men. Fine. Similarly, cowness inheres in all individual cows. So, the concept of generality is divided into 3 categories: para, apara and parapara. These categories represent different levels or scopes of generality. The first, which is the para, is the most comprehensive form of generality. It encompasses concepts that have maximal scope, such as the general term like animal. Okay, it's a broad class, it's a maximal scope it has, because the category of para refers to beinghood that encompasses a wide range of entities falling under a specific category. The second, it represents the least comprehensive form of generality. So it refers to concepts with minimal scope, such as if we take the term men. So apara denotes beinghood that has narrower focus, encompassing a specific subset or category within a broader classification. The last represents the generality that falls between para and apara. Okay, so it includes concepts that are higher in generality than apara but lower than para. For example, the term beinghood is a general term that encompasses various aspects of existence. So under the category of animality, both beinghood and non-beinghood can be constituted. Similarly, under beinghood, specific category like men, women and others can be included. Moving to the fifth category, which is particularity. It enables us to perceive things as different from one another. Every individual is a particular, a single or a unique thing different from the others. It has got a uniqueness of its own which constitutes its particularity. It indicates that unique or specific individuality of eternal substances which have no parts. So these substances are space, time, mind, ether, sound and the atoms of these elements. Thus, it is ultimate and eternal. It is because of particularity that individuals are differentiated and distinguished from one another. This also causes the atoms of same substances considered separately. Hence, each particular is unique in its nature. Moving to the sixth category, which is samavai or inherence. It is inseparable eternal relation. So inherence refers to an inseparable and intimate relationship between two entities, wherein one entity cannot exist separately or independently apart from the other. The concept of inherence signifies a permanent and eternal connection. Here we have to be clear that inherence does not mean conjunction. So it's not two separate substances coming together. Fine. So conjunction is a relation resulted by a connection of at least two substances, but inherence is not resulted by the connection of two substances. Inherence is inherent in the substance. For example, the whole inheres in the part, qualities inhere in substances, an action inheres in the substance, universal inheres in individual member, and so on. Moving to the last category, which is non-existence or abhav. Non-existence, it is added later by the commentators. The Vaisheshikas, they uphold that non-existence, like existence, is perceivable. Non-existence is the absence of an object. The first 6 categories are positive and this can be considered as negative. So other categories are regarded as absolute, but this category is regarded as relative in its conception. Now, absence of an object of knowledge can be of 4 types. Antecedent non-existence, which is pragabhav, subsequent non-existence, which is pradvamsabhav, mutual non-existence, which is anonyabhav, last, which is the absolute non-existence, which is atyant abhav. We'll quickly go through them and then we will wind up this lecture. So, the antecedent non-existence means the absence of substance prior to its production or creation. The second, which is pradham swabhav, it means the non-existence of a thing after its destruction. So, when a pot is broken, we talk about the non-existence of the pot after its destruction. Hence, here the non-existence has a beginning but it has no end. The third is the anonya abhav, is also termed as mutual non-existence. So, mutual non-existence means the exclusion of one thing by the other. So, X is not Y. The last is the atyant abhav, which is the absolute non-existence, which means absence of one thing in the other at all the time, past, present or future. For example, hare's horn or barren woman's child. That can never happen. So, it is absolute non-existence. So, thank you viewers. With this, we come to an end of our lecture on Vaiśeṣika philosophy. I hope it was useful, and in the next lecture, we would be doing its allied school, which is the Nyaya philosophy. So, thank you for staying with us and watching our videos.